Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananamalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunmanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidhusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Namaste once again, everybody.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaste, namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, namaskaram. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontah, tvanayos-tattvadarshibhihi. So we are learning the meaning of this shloka and also the implications of this shloka in the context of Advaita Siddhanta. But before going further, let us have a quick recap of what points that we have already seen till now, and which of course have been made by Bhagavan Krishna as he starts his teaching. Wise people, that is, people who understand the ephemeral, transient, or temporary nature of this world and who know the absolute truth, they do not grieve for anything which has gone or which is not yet gone but will go away. This was the first point Bhagavan made in the 11th shloka. Then this idea was developed. What is this absolute truth? Obviously, we will ask this question. So Bhagavan Krishna started explaining. And we have seen the explanation in the previous slokas that every living being is a conscious entity, and it is consciousness which makes it sentient, or we can say it makes it a living being. This consciousness, which is the inner essence of every being and also the inner essence of this entire universe, is permanent. It is nitya, eternal. And this consciousness is known as the Atma, the inner self, or the real self. Everything other than the Atma or consciousness is termed as Anatma. And the nature of this Anatma is ephemeral, ever-changing. And in and through all the changes that the world of Anatma undergoes, including the changes at the level of the individual bodies of the living beings, The Atma remains the same. Because the Atma is changeless, nirvikara. Atma survives even after the fall of the body or even after the resolution of this entire universe during Pralaya. Therefore, when the entire universe of Anatma is resolved, Atma continues to exist. A person with a discriminative intellect who accepts the body as a temporary medium is objective and he is not deluded, or he does not get deluded by all this changing nature of this Anatma, this entire world. He understands that the changing nature of the world cannot be changed because that is the very nature of Anatma. And this world of Anatma is bound to give us experiences of pairs of opposites like heat and cold, pleasure and pain, gain and loss, growth and decay, etc., which have the nature of arrival and departure, agama payinaha, coming and going. Though impermanent, nothing can be done about them. Therefore, wisdom lies in accepting them and learning to endure them. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna advised Arjuna, Tam titikshasva, may you develop endurance, may you develop the inner strength, both physical and at mental level. May you increase your physical immunity and may you also increase your mental immunity. More than physical, mental immunity must be stronger if we have to avoid all sorts of grief, sorrow, etc. So Bhagavan's message is, instead of vainly trying to change the world, change your attitude for dealing with the changing world. This is the message. And the person who is not disturbed by the changing nature of the world and who is equanimous in pain and pleasure and who is discriminative, who is wise, indeed is fit for gaining self-knowledge. And through that gaining, through that self-knowledge, he is fit for gaining liberation or moksha. Because such a person enjoys a mind which is fit for Vedantic inquiry, philosophical inquiry. A disturbed mind cannot study Vedanta. Then in the last sloka, we were seeing Krishna saying, Atma is Satya hai, Anatma is Mithya. Atma is real, Anatma is unreal. Atma has independent existence, Anatma has borrowed existence. And we understood the difference between Satyam and Mithya, between independent existence and borrowed existence, with the example of heating of water in a vessel. Therefore, we have to be very careful in understanding that Mithya does not mean opposite to Satyam. Mithya is not antonym to Satyam. Mithya does not mean false. Mithya means that which has a dependent existence. Existence is not a natural attribute of a Mithya Vastu. Or in other words, existence is not intrinsic nature to a Mithya Vastu. Existence is only an incidental nature to a Mithya Vastu. Because whatever is intrinsic, whatever is natural, will be there all the time. Whereas whatever is incidental will be there only temporarily. So the intrinsic nature is permanent, incidental nature is temporary. What is an incidental property is subject to arrival and departure, whereas what is an intrinsic property is not subject to arrival and departure. And we know that everything in this universe is perishable. And any perishable thing is an impermanent thing. And the impermanent thing enjoys existence for some time. So all impermanent things do not have existence as their nature. Since they have existence as their incidental nature, that existence must be a borrowed existence. Borrowed from a source which has a permanent existence. A source for which existence is the intrinsic property. Therefore, Satyam is a thing with intrinsic existence, and Mithya is a thing which borrowed existence. And we saw the example of clay and pot to understand the difference between Satyam and Mithya. I think this much we covered in the last class. Till the last class. Now the question is, we say that Mithya has got borrowed existence. The question is, this borrowed or temporary existence is borrowed from where? In the case of a clay and pot, we can understand the existence of the pot is borrowed from clay. Because before the pot was there, clay was there. When the pot is there, clay is there. After the pot is broken or destroyed, clay continues to be there. Therefore, in that example of clay and pot, clay alone lends existence to the pot. Clay does not borrow existence from the pot, whereas the pot has borrowed existence from the clay. So in the example, we can understand that clay is permanent. Clay enjoys intrinsic existence vis-a-vis the pot. Pot is impermanent and pot enjoys borrowed existence from the clay. We should be careful that we should remember that this is only an example that we are considering to understand the difference between Satyam and Mithya. From the standpoint of the absolute reality, even clay has got temporary existence only. But we can understand that in this example, in relation to the pot, clay has permanent existence. So that which has got permanent existence is called Satyam, and that which has got temporary existence or borrowed existence is called Mithya. Therefore, in this example, clay is Satyam, pot is Mithya. Understanding this principle in the context of this entire creation is what Vedanta is all about. Once we understand this and bring up this understanding whenever we encounter any experience of any kind, you are a Vedanti. With this understanding, once you start looking at the world, you start looking at the universe, every object in this universe, including relationships with other people, everything we will understand is impermanent, temporary, Mithya. So the whole Vedanta is trying to understand these two alone, Satyam and Mithya. Swami Parmatananda says, even if one has studied Vedanta for 25 years, but has not understood these two, Satyam and Mithya, he or she has wasted 25 precious years of his or her life. Because the whole Vedanta is this only. Whole creation is what? Atma plus Anatma. That's all. Atma is Satyam, Anatma is Mithya. Om Tat Sat, that's over with. Vedanta is over. This is the absolute truth. If at all books and books are, after books are written, it is only to unfold this idea more and more and more and more clearly. So therefore, what is permanent is Satyam, what is impermanent is Mithya, Atma is Satyam, Anatma is Mithya. But we should be clear at every stage to understand that Mithya does not mean false or non-existent. Many people don't understand this. And they refuse to accept the Upanishad Vakya, which clearly defines what alone is Satya. They refuse to see that. They say, no, whatever exists, I can experience is existent, it is real. That is what their argument ends with. They don't go beyond that. Whereas Mahatma after Mahatma has actually highlighted the fact what is Satyam. So in this shloka, the words Sataha and Asataha are used for what? Satyam and Mithya. And the words Bhavaha and Abhavaha are used to express intrinsic existence and incidental or borrowed existence respectively. Now, in the Vedantic terminology, there is one more word which is used, which word is called Tuchcha. Tuchcha is many times used in place of Abhava. And it refers to certain combinations that do not exist at all. The classic examples given in the Shastra are Shashashringaha. Shashashringaha means rabbit's horn. Or Vandhyaputraha, the son of a barren woman. Both do not exist at all. Independently, the rabbit exists and the Shringaha, the horn, exists. Similarly, independently, Vandhya, a barren woman, exists and Putraha, the son, exists. But the combination of a rabbit and horn and the combination of a barren woman and her son, they do not exist. There is no such thing as Shashashringaha and Vandhyaputra. Both are Tuchcha, totally non-existing, inconceivable. Therefore, the question is, does the word Asat in this verse mean Tuchcha, non-existence? This is the question. Because when we are dealing with Vedanta, we have to deal with all the angles. If we leave one small portion, somebody will get up and say, but this can mean this also. So we have to deal with whether Asat means Tuchcha or not. The simple answer is no. Asat does not mean Tuchcha in the context of this verse. Even though at many places Asat and Tuchcha are used interchangeably. Pujya Swamiji says, it is unnecessary to say that something that is non-existent has no being. What will we achieve by making such a statement? Making a statement that is something which is non-existent, does not exist, is a waste statement, isn't it? Waste of our breath and energy and time. It doesn't convey anything at all. However, in some of the modern commentaries on the Gita, we do find Asat being translated as and equated to non-existent. So that's why Pujya Swamiji, when he comments on those commentaries, he says, what purpose is served by this sentence, such as rabbit's horn does not exist. Do you need to say it? I mean, rabbit's horn does not exist. Everybody knows rabbit's horn does not exist. Rabbit's horn has no existence. So he says no purpose is served by such sentences. That is why whenever we are actually interpreting the Upanishads or any Vakya in the Vedas, the interpretation should be purposeful. Because Sanskrit language being what it is, every word has got different meanings, different shades of meanings also. So that is why we require acharyas, that is why we require scholars, that is why we require an Adi Shankara, Bhashyakara and all to understand the context and then teach us what exactly this means. Otherwise, everybody who knows a little bit of Sanskrit, who knows how to refer to a dictionary, can pick up a dictionary and learn the whole of Bhagavad Gita. That is what many people try to do. But they will not reach anywhere because these kind of interpretations, dictionary will give you 10 meanings. If you say Asat, dictionary will give you 10 meanings. Which meaning are you going to apply? That is why we require acharyas, we require a guru, we require, the commentaries, the bhashyams. So that which we refer to as Asat has an order of reality, which is neither Satya, Abhava, nor Tucha. That is Abhava and Tucha, I am using it in the same meaning. There is another type of Abhava between these two, between Satya and Tucha, which we call Asat here in this sloka. For instance, let us take the example of our body. We cannot dismiss the sense organs and the sense objects as totally non-existent as Tucha, like Vandhyaputra or Shashashringa, isn't it? So they are not Tucha, our sense objects, sense organs and the sense objects of the world. Does it mean that they are Sat? If it is not Asat or Tucha, they should be Sat. Only two possibilities. Let us analyze them. A sense organ cannot be called a sense organ unless it perceives something, isn't it? Eyes are a sense organ only because they see a form or a color also, you can say. Ears are sense organ because they hear a sound, and the senses of smell, taste, touch, etc. are all sense organs because they contact with their respective sense objects in the world. If the eyes cannot see, can you call the eyes a sense organ? If the ears do not hear, can we call the ear a sense organ? Just the ear lobes are there, but the thing is heard. Can we call it a sense organ? That ear can at best be used for using some earring, or like in school and all, children, teachers can catch hold of the, the earlobe and twist it, giving punishment to the children. That is the only purpose that ear will serve. So these earlobes or these eyeballs, they are all just anatomical aspects of the sense called hearing or seeing. You must understand, it is the hearing that makes the ears a sense organ, and there is no such thing as sound without ears, which establishes what? Which establishes that to establish the existence of one thing, we need to establish the existence of the other. When establishing the existence of either one, which depends on establishing the existence of the other, there must be some other basis for the existence of both, isn't it? I hope you are understanding what this like, because this is the way inquiry goes in Vedanta. This is how analysis is done. Vedanta is not just a for superficially understanding things. Vedanta is for going deep and understanding the real nature of this entire creation. Therefore, I will repeat what I said. In respect of, let us say, the ear and the sound. Ear as a sense organ and sound as a sense object. If we have to establish ears as a sense organ, there is a necessity for a sound. There should be an existence of sound. If sound has to be established as existence, there should be an existent sense organ called ear. So there is paraspara sambandha is there between the sense organ and the sense object. To establish that there is a sound, we need to establish the existence of the other, the existence of the ear. Similarly, to establish the existence of the ear, we need to establish the existence of the sound. That is why when children are born, babies, what is the first thing a mother does? See, they give us all these kind of what they call in Tamil kiligilipai and all that. This toys which are made, which make some very soft sounds. They are given to the babies. What is the purpose? The mother will always have a doubt, and this is inherent with all mothers, whether the child can hear or not. Because initially when the child is born, it is just coming into a new world, there's so much of noise inside the womb. It had a beautiful life, calm and quiet. Maximum it would hear was some rumblings of the stomach. That's the noise. And it would have got used to it also, being there for 9 months. When it comes into this world, and even though eyes do not open, but hearing is already there. Ears are there. So moment it comes into the world, tumultuous world, like what we saw, when all these things were blown, conches and the drums were bewildering for the child. That's a reason why children, when the baby is born, when they cry, they are totally, like thrown in the entire ocean of the samsara. They cry, start with crying. So the babies, the mother wants to know whether the child can hear properly, whether the hearing faculty is working. So what she will do, she will take some small thing, or even sometimes a plate and spoon and all, and do some small noise. On the side, suppose the child is facing the right side, she will make the noise on the left side and see whether the child turns its head towards the left side to see from where the noise is coming. If that is successful, then she will be satisfied. Yes, the child can hear. And I don't know, I have seen many mothers doing it. Rather. Even my wife did it with my children. Anyhow, the point is, in order to establish one, it is necessary to establish the other, existence of the other. But when we say both are existing, it cannot be that the sound is borrowing existence from the ear and ear is borrowing existence from the sound. It cannot be that. Then they will have karana karya sambandha. Only one will be real, the other will be tucha, or other will be asat. So that is also not there. Therefore, both the sense object and the sense organ, there must be some other basis for the existence of both. Thus, when we analyze everything in this world, including our body, mind, sense complex, all of them depend on something that is self-existent, which has got existence as its intrinsic nature, and which is capable of lending its existence to everything else in this universe, and that is called Sat. But once we understand that there is something called Sat, because of which the sense organs and the sense objects are existing, we cannot dismiss the sense organs and sense objects as non-existent also. So they are not tuchya because we are experiencing them. And therefore, what we have got a word that is called asat. So the word abhava is borrowed from Nyaya Shastra, means that which is non-existent. In Nyaya Shastra, they do not go into borrowed existence and all because they have got a different philosophy so far as Atma and all is concerned, which differs from the way Advaita Vedanta works. We'll not go into the Nyaya Shastra details. But here what we say is that the existence, even though we can say that from a point of view of absolute reality, from the point of view of Sat, these sense organs and sense objects are asat, that is not, or abhava, it is not atyanta abhava. They are not totally non-existent. They do exist. All our experiences of pleasure, pain, sukha, dukkha, everything, heat, cold, everything exists. We cannot dismiss them as non-existent, nor can we take them as independently existent. Because if they are independently existent, there will be a big problem. One sukha comes, it will remain permanently. One dukkha comes, it will remain permanently. So we don't want that also, isn't it? We want sukha and dukkha. We are prepared to take dukkha provided sukha also comes occasionally. So we cannot dismiss them as non-existence. We cannot define them as that they have got existence as the intrinsic quality. They are not independently existent also. Therefore, what? For something that cannot be dismissed as non-existence, tuchya, and cannot be taken as independently existent Sat, we have to have a word, and that word is asat. And another word for that asat is mithya, or it is extended in the Shastras, including Bhashyakara uses Maya. So asat, mithya, Maya, they are all synonyms. So asat or mithya is that which has no bhava. No bhava means that which does not have any independent existence, that which depends upon Sat for its existence. Therefore, only when there is Sat, Asat is possible. In fact, we can know the existence of Sat only because of the existence of Asat. We can know the absolute reality only through this dependent reality. Therefore, mithya or asat is something whose existence depends upon another thing, and because it has no independent existence, it is not separate from that upon which it depends. This is a very important point we have to understand. Like existence of pot, we said pot is mithya, borrowed existence from clay. Or taking another example, existence of ornament. existence of an ornament is a borrowed existence from gold. I'm talking about gold ornament. So whatever is dependently existent, it does not have a separate existence from the existence of that thing on which it depends. Pot does not have an independent existence from clay. Ornaments do not have independent existence from gold. They all depend upon the gold or clay or whatever it is. So the existence of pot and ornament is not separate from the existence of gold and clay, because their existence depends upon the original source from where they borrow the existence. And this is what Shastra means when it says that this entire world is Maya or Mithya. It cannot be described in any other definite manner. But it has to be described also. That is why Shastra says Sat Asadbhyam Anirvachaniyam. This is how Shastra defines Mithya or Maya. So now let us look at this sloka. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. So here, as I said, bhavaha means intrinsic existence. That is own existence or natural existence is called bhavaha. Na vidyate means is not there. So for asataha, for a mithya vastu, for an impermanent thing, there is no intrinsic existence. Or in other words, an unreal mithya vastu, which is impermanent, does not have an existence as an intrinsic quality. Just to remember the clay and pot example. Natural existence is not there for the pot. In the same way, sataha abhavaha na vidyate. Abhavaha means absence of existence or non-existence or destruction. Non-existence is not there for what has got intrinsic existence. Na vidyate for sataha, for a real thing which has natural existence. In this example, what we should take? We should take the clay. Because even when the pot is broken, the clay continues to exist. So, non-existence or borrowed existence does not exist for the clay. So, what we can understand as the meaning of the sloka, a real thing does not have non-existence, and an unreal thing does not have natural existence. Unreal thing means borrowed, which, unreal means we should not take it as Shashashranga. We should say everything which is a mithya vastu. Artificial existence, you can call. So, in Vedanta terminology, Satyam does not have non-existence. Mithya does not have natural existence. The appearance of the existence of a mithya vastu is borrowed from Satyam. This is the truth. Antaha, the true nature of Ubayo api anayoho, of these two, that is Satyam and Mithya, Tattvadarshibhihi drishtaha. Tattvadarshi means wise people. So this truth is seen by, understood by, realized by, clearly ascertained by, doubtlessly grasped by the wise people. So who are the wise people? The wise people are a jnani, is one who has clearly grasped the true nature of both Satyam and Mithya, both Atma and Anatma. So it is like handling the pot. With the knowledge all the time that the pot is Mithya, anytime it can break. That is why, when we are, transporting things and all, they call it fragile, put a sticker. Anytime it can break. So, since wise people understand the nature of anatma, when anatma undergoes change or perishes, they never complain. Because they have understood this universal principle that anatma means it will go away. This body, mind, sense complex is anatma, it will go away. What is there to grieve about when the body, mind, sense complex go away? This is what Krishna is now trying to make Arjuna understand. So once having understood this universal principle, we have to connect this to the earlier slokas. So what Bhagavan Krishna's message to Arjuna is, and through him, of course, to all of us, is that if you understand this principle very well, you will never grieve for loss of a mithya vastu. Let it be that you have actually lost all your money in stock market. Extreme circumstance in today's circumstance, I am telling you. Wise person will not grieve. He knew that nature of stock market is like that. When I invested the money, I knew that I am investing in the high risk market, where either I will gain a huge amount of gain or I will lose everything that I have invested. With that knowledge only I have invested. Now when the money is gone, why are you grieving? Otherwise you should not now gone to the stock market side at all. Isn't it? A wise person will ask this question. So a wise person who has understood this principle will never grieve for a loss of a mithya vastu, destruction of an impermanent thing, a thing which does not have independent existence, including the death of near and dear ones. Its existence was temporary, it had to go one day, and it has gone. So what is there to grieve about? So now let us turn to another aspect of this whole discussion. We have said that a mithya vastu has got borrowed existence. But this shloka does not make it clear from where it is borrowed. We have said sat and asat, satyam, asat. Obviously, one thing we know that this mithya vastu has to borrow its existence from a satya vastu, which always exists, which has got existence as its intrinsic nature. So the next question is, what is that satya vastu? Now, Pujya Swamiji here explains this very well in this commentary. Let us see what Pujya Swamiji says. Again, it's a little bit high level. So you have to tune your mind to understand what Pujya Swamiji is saying. He says that when we say there is a pot, does the word pot reveal an object that exists by itself, or does the object indicated by the word pot depend for its existence upon something else? This is the question we have to ask. If it depends upon something else, like in this case, a clay, because of which the pot is there, and unto that clay, which it will go back when it is destroyed, then the clay becomes the karana or the cause for the pot, isn't it? The pot is the karya, it is the product. Clay is the cause, pot is a product. Karana karya sambandha is there between clay and pot. The word pot has got no real object outside the word itself. It has no existence apart from clay. So clay given a shape, we call it pot. That's all. That shape can differ. If it's a different shape, we will call it a plate. If it is a different shape, we will call it a cup. But cup, plate, or pot, all these things have got no existence outside their own respective namas that we have given. And all of them have got no existence apart from clay. So that which has a cause and that which depends upon something for its existence and that which does not independently exist is called asat, as we have seen. And this explanation is based upon Chandogya Upanishad. As the story goes in the Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetaketu is a young boy, a young brahmachari. After his Upanayanam ceremony, his father, who is also a great scholar, sends him to a Gurukula at the age of 12 to study Shastra. After studying for 12 years, this Shvetaketu returns. And he is very arrogant. He has become very arrogant because he has gained very, full knowledge of the Shastra he has gained. Very proud of his accomplishments. Having studied the Vedas for 12 years, being away from home with a guru. And as I said, Shvetaketu's father was a great man. He himself was a great scholar. But he could not stand his son's arrogance. He felt that I must actually deal with this arrogance of this boy who thinks he knows everything. So he asks his son, very good, Shvetaketu, you have, my dear Shvetaketu, you have come back after your studies. What all did you study? Shvetaketu says, I have studied everything. My teacher has taught me everything that is to be learned. Then nothing that he has not taught me. Then the father asks him, Shvetaketu, my dear, did you ask your teacher for that knowledge, gaining which everything is known? The boy is stunned. He says, what is that? What do you mean, father? You mean that there is something gaining the knowledge of which we will gain the knowledge of everything? Father said, yes, that is exactly what I'm asking you. Did you ask your teacher for that knowledge, gaining which we will have knowledge of everything? The boy replied that he did not think that his teacher knew of such a knowledge. Because in his arrogance, he thought that teacher knows everything, I also know everything. Then he asks, but tell me, father, how can you know one thing and thereby know everything else? Then he comes down. He says, if there is such a knowledge, because he knows his father is also a great scholar. He says, father, if there is such a knowledge, please teach me. In fact, he suddenly takes, his father as his guru. He says, oh Lord, Raghu. And his father starts by saying, Sadeva Saumya Vidamagra Asid Ekameva Dvitiyam. Sat Eva. Before Idam Agra Asid, before the creation, there was only one thing that is called Sat Vastu, which was non-dual, Advitiyam, one without a second, undifferentiated. Nothing else was there. From that Satvastu alone called Brahman, everything has come and is non-separate from it. Nothing exists upon Sat. Nothing exists apart from Sat. And this knowledge is revealed in the Upanishad. In fact, the same thing is discussed in Mundaka Upanishad also. The only difference is that in Chandogya Upanishad, it is a conversation between the father and son. In Mundaka Upanishad, it's a conversation between the teacher and the student. That's all. Otherwise, Mundaka Upanishad is also talking about the same thing, that before this entire creation was there was only one thing, which is Sat. And Bhashyakara in his commentary explains Asat further based upon this Chandogya Upanishad Bhakya. Yata Soumya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mridmayam Vijnatam Syat Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadevam Mrittika Ityeva Satyam. This we saw in the last class. When we try to prove the existence of things that are dependent upon the causes for their existence, such as cold or heat or any given object, we find that there is no self-existent thing at all among all the objects of this world. Why is that? Because what is there is only form, vikara. It keeps changing. Bhashyakara says, Vyabhicharati, keeps changing. It is never the same, nor can it be the same. And Bhashyakara goes on to prove a point here. Suppose all pots of different shapes and different names are made of clay, but you have the knowledge of only one pot. For example, you go to a potter's house. He has got 2-3 pots outside. You go and say, I want to buy this pot. It's a clay pots, all are clay pots. So the potter says that, yeah, you can buy it, this is the price for it. But I want 50 pieces of this. The potter says, no problem, I'll give you 50 pieces. I've got everything inside my house, lot of pieces. He said, but I want jug also, made of clay. Because the potter will make only from clay. He says, yeah, I want 25 pieces of the jug. Potter says, I can give you that. So now, question is, when we have seen one pot and one jug, and the potter says that I will supply you with 50 pieces of pot and 25 pieces of jug, do we need to actually examine each and every pot and each and every jug, whether it is made of clay? We may examine it for other reasons, like whether it's cracked or broken and all that. It's a different question. But the karanam of that pot, that it is clay, do we need to know? So when we know one pot is made of clay, we know all pots are made of clay only. So if you have the knowledge of one pot, you have the knowledge of all the pots. So if you know Satya, which is the truth, the cause, the karana of all the pots to be non-dual clay, regardless of what form any or all pots assume, you know that there is nothing but only one clay. It was one big mount of clay which the potter had. From that he took pieces and pieces, made one pot, 2 pots, 3 pots and all. The cause for all this pot is one undivided piece of clay only. So by knowing that one clay, you know all the pots, in the sense that they are not separate from clay. Although this is a samanya jnana, which is called as general knowledge of all pots as clay, it is not the particular knowledge or vishesha jnana of the individual pots. It is just the knowledge of the whole at the macro level knowledge. You say pot, I don't even need to see the pot. I know it is made of clay. That is the Samanya Jnana. So now question is, what is this pot? Because for us, pot has got a reality. Pot exists for us. It serves a useful purpose. We can pour water, store water, cool water we will get from a pot. We can carry water from one place to another. Why water? Any other thing we can carry. Even we can put grains and all that in the pot. It has got a reality. It has got a utility for us. But if we go look beyond that utility point of view, what is the nature of that pot? It is nothing but clay. Pot is purely a name and form. Other than that, there is no pot that exists separate from clay. Nor clay is the pot. If clay were the pot, you did not make a pot at all, isn't it? Therefore, clay is not the pot. If you remove the clay, where is the pot? There will be no pot. Therefore, all that is there for the name of pot and form is nothing but the form of clay which is recognized as a pot. Anything that is time bound like a pot will change, and you cannot stop it because its nature is to keep on changing. When and how are you going to stop it? Can you stop it? You cannot. Therefore, what are you crying for? What are you sad for? Are you sad for something eternal because it is eternal? No. You are sad for something which is anyway going to change. Sat is that which never changes. It has no existence, abhava at all. No non-existence or abhava at all. Sat is never negated at any time. Trikale api tishtati yat tat sat says Tattvaboda. Whereas Asat never enjoys a being of its own. Therefore, Sat cannot create any sorrow for you. Asat is incapable of doing so because it does not exist in its own right. How can Asat create sorrow? Is the question. In the vision of the Vedas, Asat cannot be a source of sorrow to Sat, and Sat cannot be a source of sorrow. And your Swarupa, your real nature of every being is Sat. You are Brahman, the cause of this entire world. Therefore, Asat cannot cause any sorrow to you. Our problem is one of confusion between Sat and Asat, between Atma and Anatma. And Upanishad after Upanishad try to solve this confusion. That is what the entire teaching of Upanishad, different words, different stories, different expressions, different mantras, different circumstances. This is what all Upanishads do. Only one message. Know the difference between Sat and Asat. Know that you are Sat. You cannot be in Sat. You cannot be a source or a destination of any sorrow, any grief. That is what is Ananda is all about. Even the sorrow or the grief that you experience now and then is also Asat. It is not real. That existence of that is borrowed from Sat only. Because you are the one who is giving the, lending the existence to even those grief and sorrow. Now there will be another question. If all the objects in the world are Asat and do not have their own existence, then why do people take them as real? How are we able to experience something which does not exist? And the Shastra attempts to answer all these questions, which we will see in the next class. Okay, I'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much,
Guruji.
Thank you.
Guruji.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaskaram. Any questions are there? Today Hariji is missing.
Guruji, I was just thinking that, we hear that Brahman is Sat, Chit and Anandam. Is it not? So when we are born itself, like that Sat and Chit are already there for us to, we don't know that it is borrowed, but it is there. But I think, yes, it is only Anandam that we really have to work for, no, Guruji? So that Anandam is not just given to us. It is only Sukham and Dukkham.
Sat, Chit and Ananda, all three are there always. Nothing to do with birth.
No, but Sat and Chit, we are existing. Everybody knows that they are existing. Even and even Chetana, okay, Chit, we know we are using it, but we don't know. We know only about it after studying. But it is only Anandam that what do I say? That undisturbed joy, permanent joy is what I
Anandam
think
is
that-
not undisturbed joy. Anandam is your Swarupa. That is there. Whatever joy you experience in your life.
Yeah, that's what. So that is what I think we really have
What
to
is that? What is
find
that
that.
joy? From where it is coming?
Correct.
From where you
that-
think that it is coming from some object.
Correct.
No, it
That's
is
what.
coming from your nature. It is coming out. That's all.
Exactly. That's what.
That is what. So
Guruji.
there is nothing question. Ananda, you have to develop and all. There is Ananda is already there. Only you have to understand that you are Ananda Swarupa. That's all. And not run behind the things for your Ananda. Our problem is that we think. See, Swami Paramarthananda gives a very beautiful example of this. The dog is there, which is chewing a bone. Dry bone. The bone has got nothing. It is chewing it.
Correct. Yeah.
What is happening? When chewing it, its gums start bleeding. And the dog gets the taste of blood.
Its own blood.
Its own blood. But the dog is thinking that the taste is coming from the bone. It goes on more and more chewing. If the dog is a jnani, it will throw out the bone and it will also stop bleeding. Rather, it will know that I have got blood in me, so that's fine with me. We are all chewing bones, thinking that is the Ananda we have to get from outside. That is the biggest fallacious thinking we have got. Ananda.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling Guruji. That will only come with this. When we know it is our Swarupa and we learn to be in that Swarupa, in that self of ours.
Even Sat and Chit also is that only. If you do not know that your Swarupa is Sat and Chit, you will take everything in this world to be Satyam only.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So everything is there. Sat, Chit, Ananda, your Swarupa is a matter of understanding. It's a cognitive knowledge that you have to get. And that is what is the whole Upanishad is trying to do. Because this is not the knowledge which is there, physics knowledge, chemistry knowledge and all. Nobody will teach you this. If you know everything, all other knowledge, but you don't know this, you will never, your samsara will not end, your grief will not end in this world. Only when you know this, you will know the reality of the nature, what is this creation, then you will know what exactly it is. Samatva bhava we say, What is the Samatva Bhava? We will talk. Krishna is going to talk about Samatva Bhava throughout Bhagavad Gita. What is it that Samatva Bhava? What my Swarupa is the Swarupa of everything in this nature. If we understand that, then everything will be our friend. Nobody will be, nothing will be, our enemy. We will learn to see, learn to love, learn to have the same compassion which we have towards us, towards everything. So what we have to understand, what is the nature of everything? It's not only us. We are only one more entity in this entire nature. Even when a cow is born, a dog is born, birth is what is like a bubble in a body of water. Correct? That is what is a birth. The bubble, all bubbles, small bubble, big bubble, all bubble, different types of bubbles, all living beings. All those bubbles have their existence dependent on water only, isn't it? That is how whole thing is. Our birth also, this Satchidananda being the Swarupa of this entire universe, this cosmos, does not go away anywhere. It is not an object that we are born with. It's not an equipment we are born with. It was there, our Swarupa in our previous birth. It is going to be our Swarupa eternally. Because they are eternal. As long as we keep on taking birth after birth after birth, this such Chit Ananda is not going to leave us. We may acquire a body which may not reflect Chit. We may acquire a body which may not reflect Ananda. But does not mean that that is not the intrinsic nature of any object in this world. That is what we have to understand in Vedanta. Once this understanding is there, then your attitude towards everything will be totally different. And never think that Ananda is something coming from something we have to develop Ananda and all. Nothing to be developed. It's there. You have to tap it. That's all. So many examples are given, like I think in another talk, Swami Paramatmana talks about water divining. Right? Water divining. You know what is water divining?
No, Guruji.
See, when we construct a house, so let's say a plot of land is there. We want to construct in a village. There is no municipality water and all, right? Even in towns also, this has become common now. Even Chennai and all, very common. Before you construct a house, what do you require the first thing in the house construction?
Water?
Water, right? So the first thing is they will dig a well or a bore well. Correct? Am I right?
Yes, Guruji. Yes, yes.
How do they find where to dig for that well or bore well? How do they know where to dig? Because it's not that at every place there is water. You dig, you will get water. If that is the case, Chennai will never ever have any water problem, isn't it? So we have got people who are called water diviners. They have got a technique. They have got a certain instrument by which they will go through the entire plot. And that instrument will tell them that this place, if you dig, you will get water. They will tell that mason, you dig here, you will get water. And you dig there, you will get water.
Yes, yes, correct, Guruji.
These people are called water diviners.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they are called water diviners. Okay. So similarly, petrol diviners are there. Because in the ocean, where do you find crude? Not everywhere. Only some places there will be crude in the ocean. So they will be divining that. They will know exactly if they dig a well in the ocean in a particular place, they will get crude oil. So like that, Jnanis are nothing but Satchidananda diviners. They know where to dig, tap what to get Ananda. So that is what Jnanis are. We become Jnanis, we will know that you don't need to work for Ananda and all that. You have to work for all the sadhanas which will lead you to that self-knowledge. Sadhanas make you fit for that. That you have to work for. But you don't need to work for Sat, you don't need to work for Chit, you don't need to work for Ananda. There is no sadhana for working for Ananda. No Veda, no Upanishad says, you do this sadhana, you will get Ananda. No Upanishad says that. Only they say you will get Atma Jnanam, your true knowledge of yourself.
I think the sadhana is for us to know the anatma, all Guruji, and then go
Sadhana
back.
is there not only to know the anatma, to remove the effect of anatma from our
Yeah, correct.
thought.
Yes.
Not only
I mean,
know the
all the
anatma.
scriptures tell us only about anatma actually more,
Yeah,
because that is what we
exactly.
have to know and be away from.
You tell
Everything
me
other
one
than that
thing.
is.
Let me ask you one thing. We go and see a movie or a drama, correct?
Mm,
When we are watching that movie, we all know that this is a scripted by somebody, some story has been done and all that.
correct.
We know it is all just concocted stuff.
Yes, yes.
Do we forget the movie after we come out of the hall?
Yes, if not immediately, at least surely.
Go on discussing. If you understand the movie was a drama, you will neither cry in the movie nor laugh in the movie. Of course, you will cry and laugh. You will not, at least you may laugh for some joke or something like that, which may tickle your intellect. But you will not cry. You will say, oh, this is all drama. That fellow, that the wonderful actor is crying. So why should I cry along with him? But that's the purpose of the movie, to create these emotions. Who is a Jnani, who has actually mastered his emotions. He understands this is anatma. I should not indulge emotionally with this anatma. That's all. That is what is Vedanta is all about.
He
Does not
understands
mean
the whole
that
movie.
Jadam.
Whole world is a. He understands the whole world is a stage, and everybody is just a character played.
Character. Yeah. Yeah. So even Puja Swamiji, he knows himself. He may be playing so many roles, a role of a teacher. When he is playing a role of a teacher, he has to impose certain discipline as a teacher, isn't it? He knows that role teacher is also mithya, the discipline also mithya, everything is mithya, he knows. But
But he's given a role, he has to play it.
he has to play it. That's all. On his own, he knows that I am not this. I am Sachidananda. I am Aham Brahma.
Correct.
He knows. That's all. That is the realization. If we get, then whatever we do in our life, it will not.
That has to be, that realization has to be continuous 24/7. We have to be in that.
24/7 after you know what it is.
Yeah, correct.
Isn't it? 24/7 is Nididhyasana.
Yeah.
But
That is a sadhana.
No, because you must, even when you get that knowledge, you must be able to accept that knowledge.
Yes,
It?
yes.
How many people you think will accept the knowledge? So it is all there. That's why I keep on saying, most people, 99%, attend all these Swami Paramatmananda scholar classes, Puja Swami is not entertainment. They don't have anything else to do, they attend the classes. When it becomes boring, they will stop attending. Boring for them. Huh? They are not in any pursuit or anything, or at least they will attend for some time to tell everybody, oh, I am attending Swami Paramatmananda's classes. So that will give them some sort of status in the society among the scholars in the society. That's all.
No, but then creation also has to go on.
Learn from the classes, nobody will be able to tell them. Not nobody.
But I guess that's how creation also has to go on, no, Guruji?
That's true, very true. And that's why gurus never expect everybody to become a Vedanti.
Correct.
Gurus know that out of these hundreds of people, if one person also gets this knowledge, that was what Chinmayananda's argument with his guru was.
Yes, very true, Guruji. I agree with this. I guess all this is for making that one jnani.
Thousands of people, even if one comes out of it,
correct. Same thing.
That is enough. Guruji. I have helped one person to cross this samsara. That
person will help somebody else.
That person will help somebody else.
Yes.
Because everybody, all this entire population cannot become jnani overnight.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So, that is why all these gurus, this Swami Chinmayananda, Dayanand Saraswati, they go on spreading this knowledge in the hope that at least one out of all these they will come up. And of course, they have got successes also. Many have come up. Swami Paramarthananda himself is a discovery like that only.
There's so many.
How many
Swami,
people would have studied along with Swami Paramarthananda in Chinmaya, in the Gurukulam? How many of them are today helping other people to come up? Nothing. Thousands of, I think in Anakatti itself, how many batches have gone through? How many of them are able to impart that knowledge, what they have gained? But this is known, this is taken for granted, right? This is what will happen.
But I guess next month they will come with much more preparation. They'll be more ready to
At least
take
some
on to the-
orientation,
Yes,
some exposure is
something.
there. So it will
Yes.
carry on. It is not going, it is not going to
Exactly.
it will not go waste. That is the point. Yeah. Yes, Sulekha ji, what is your question?
Hari Om, Guruji. Namaste. My question is regarding Sat and Asat. As Brahman is Sat, can we consider that the Asat is this Jagat and that we are in a dream state, that the Jagat itself is the dream state of Sat, so that all objects and experiences seem real, but are within the constraints of time and space, and therefore are as the borrowed existence, and that time and space is a state that we are within that gives us this dreamlike appearance. While we're in the dream, everything seems real, but it is actually all a dream.
Yes, I will be dealing with that in the next class. In fact, I wanted to finish it today, but then I think I went a little slow today. So the three levels of reality, when we say Asat, what are we talking about? And I think that's a question Lataji asked in the last class, which I have briefly explained in my Tattva-bodha class also. I will be starting in the next week. That's why the question that I stopped with a question, right? What is this Asat? What is this nature of this entire world? So that analysis we will see in the next class, where even though the dream example is a good example to understand, but the dream example does not fit 100% into understanding this. So we need to understand what are the common features and what are the differences also in this. We need to understand that. That will what will make the understanding complete, right? We will deal with it in the next class. In the beginning of the next class itself, I will deal with it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Anjali ji, yes.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
With respect to this Sat and Asat, can we say that in this world, Sat and Asat coexist? Sat and Asat coexist in this world. That is, everything in this world is made up of Sat and Asat, or Sat or Asat, or they coexist. Like, how should we say? Because if we look at the example of pot is Asat, temporary existence, but it is made up of clay. The clay is Sat. So from that point of view, how should we say?
We should say entire world is a combination of Sat and Asat.
Achha.
Atma and Anatma. Only thing is, with our sense organs, 5 sense organs of, sight, smell, touch, and all, smell, what? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. It comes easy in Sanskrit, right? So, with all these things, we can only experience Asat. Sat, that everything that is Asat has also got a Sat element, is a matter of understanding only, which understanding we get only through Upanishads. But there is, Asat cannot exist without Sat. Sat cannot be experienced without Asat. They are one. That is why Brahman and Maya are together. When we say Ishvara,
they go hand in hand.
Say Bhagavan, or for that matter, any object in this world is combination of Brahman and Maya.
Correct.
The efficient cause and the material cause. That is how we have to understand this entire.
Understood. Yeah, understood.
But
Thank you.
we must be careful, discriminative, that what is the Maya part of it is only Mithya part. Appears to exist but does not have its own existence.
Mm.
That which does not have its own existence cannot cause any sorrow to us. Isn't it?
Okay, okay, okay. Thank
For
you.
us to be sorrow, there should be something real which can sorrow to us. A false thing, like, as I gave the example of a cinema or a drama, that events in the cinema or drama do not have their own existence. They are existing because the author wrote that, the writer wrote that. Can they cause us, sorrow eternally for all time to come? They cannot. They have no existence. Like that, what stage by stage you have to analyze that. Then we will have to find out that nothing in this world can cause us any sorrow. That is exactly what Bhagavan Krishna, right from Ashocha and Anmashochastvam, is repeating it again and again and again. Arjuna, nothing can cause you sorrow. Why are you so Vishidantam? When you are sitting and crying like a baby. What is there to be sorrow about? War is war. Do your dharma. Go and fight. Period. We'll come to that later. 26
Okay.
onwards. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Guruji.
Okay. Hari Om. Yes. Any more questions? Astiva Nava.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om. Okay. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.